This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Spoiler number one is Dr. Lee Franz.
It stinks.
What is going on? What is going on?
Episode 29, Submission 182, Tom Poston Game Show Tomfoolery. So Tom Poston, you probably know best for playing George Utley on the sitcom Newhart, but his career spans much longer than that. He had been on television right to near the very end, up until the 2000s. He had been on Mork and Mindy in the 70s and early 80s. He had been on Coach. He was on Home Improvement. He was even a clown character on Future Installment. Tee Committed.
and also he made two guest appearances on Future Installment Good Morning Miami.
Yes. And he also was on another Future episode, The Lone Gunman.
Yes, The Lone Gunman, which predicted 9/11.
So he got around, to say the least. Tom Poston did a number of game shows. He did To Tell the Truth in the 50s and 60s. He did I've Got a Secret. He did What's My Line. He did Password. He did the original Match Game. He also did the 70s version of Match Game. He was on for 2 weeks.
And he was a Senator Square on Hollywood Squares one time.
Yeah, late in the run, in the 70s, early 1980 run. Plus also in the 80s, he did Super Password. He did Body Language.
And he was also on Future Entry Battle Stars, which, by the way, he was on Battle Stars. And by the way, Mike, in that Alex Trebek interview on the American Television Archive, Alex actually tells a funny story with Tom Poston on Battle Stars.
It seems like we could have a bunch of funny stories about Tom Poston on game shows. And actually, we're going to talk about 3 of his really interesting incidents today. The first one we're going to talk about is Tom Poston on the $25,000 pyramid. Interestingly enough, he was only on the $25,000 pyramid, the version that ran on CBS in the 80s. He was only on 1 week, even though he played Password and Super Password and Password Plus. So you'd think he'd have a knack for the word games, and they'd use him more often. Plus also, again, Newhart was on CBS, so why not promote from within? Makes sense, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. But he was only on this 1 week in June of 1986, and maybe his performance at the Winner's Circle explains why he only did 1 week on the pyramid. Roll it, Greg.
Here's your first subject. Go.
The numbers, the solutions, the fractions.
The answer. The
fractions.
The
numbers, fractions. 2 plus 2 equals 4.
the formula.
Okay, pass.
Next.
That's okay. I am a special toy, and little girls love me and carry me around. And pass that one. Pass.
Next.
Pass. And this is an oyster. Or a clam.
Things that grow in the sea crustaceans.
Pass.
Next. Simmer down now.
Okay. This is your bed coils.
Springs.
These are ragged clothes. Pass. Basic things. Oh.
Elements.
I'm doing terrible.
These.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning one. 2 plus 2 equals 4.
I know, but that's some. Now, wait a minute. This is an all-time record, folks.
I shouldn't sit
Where
here.
have I gone wrong?
Zero.
Oh, that is a record.
Now,
I've never seen
it's
that.
not his fault.
Proud to be a
It's
part
not
of this.
your fault.
Mike, Billy Crystal's 28-second run on the Pyramid Winner's Circle, this was not.
Yeah, that was never in jeopardy. you can't really play along because you may or may not be able to know what the category is based on the clues given. Plus, also, we're not going to fault Tom Poston entirely here. The contestant was either very jittery, very nervous, or just was very indecisive as to how she wanted to play the game because she passed on all sorts of categories. But I have the categories here, and we'll play a little round with Greg and Chico, starting with the $50 box and then increasing by $50 increments. So the first one, the plus sign, the minus sign, the equals, the numbers.
Stuff mathematics symbols.
That would be
things.
Things in math, things in arithmetic. $50. So now the second one. I was a popular kids' toy in the early '80s, and kids had to adopt me.
What a Cabbage Patch Kid would say.
Right. Yes. Now the thing is, that was 1986. Cabbage Patch Kids were still a thing. They were still somewhat popular, but the popularity had definitely waned from their peak, like in '83, '84. $150. A walnut, an oyster, a clam.
Things you pop open.
Things with the shell.
Things with the shell, yeah. And she did say an oyster and a clam, but then she frantically passed it. So she didn't give enough time for Tom to totally think it out. The $200 one, a cuckoo clock, a mattress, a mattress inside, a thing with a spring, yeah. And this got buzzed, as you heard, because she said the mattress coils, or the metal coils in a mattress. And that's not necessarily a thing that has a spring. That is a spring.
I'll tell you what, Coily from a case of spring fever would be very upset with that being disqualified.
The $250 box. Unkempt clothing. This one's tough. Unkempt clothing. Oh my gosh, I'm really sort of stuck on this one. Things that are shabby.
Yeah, that would be very, very sticky.
That's more of a $300 clue than a $250, I think.
What was the 300?
Well, I'm going to give it to you right now, and I have the perfect clue for this.
Okay.
And I hope this isn't too academic for you. John D. Rockefeller's oil.
Things that are standard.
Bingo. I think that's the perfect clue. I mean, Chico just proved that. John D. Rockefeller's oil, because he founded Standard Oil.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, again, I'm not going to put much blame on Tom for this, because the contestant really just kept passing very quickly after 5 seconds. And
I could hear the panic in her voice. She was very panicky. It's like, I have no idea. It's like I've lost it. Let me just get this over with and see what I can do from here.
And the thing is, and this is actually something that happened on Jeopardy in the last 2 weeks or so. The nerves got the best of her.
Yeah.
There was a contestant on roughly 2 weeks as the time of this episode being published, where she ended up well into the negatives. I think it was like negative 6,200 or 6,400. And people were mocking her on social media, as people will do. And the thing is, if you watched her, you could visibly see her trembling and shaking. I felt so bad for her. Plus, also, obviously, she's qualified to be on the show. She passed the test, and she got on the show, and not everybody does that. But she was just an absolute nervous wreck. I felt so bad for her.
Hey, nerves are undefeated. If you do not get... I'll tell you right now, You get up on that stage, you're going to get a case of nerves. And if you don't get a case of nerves and you are on that stage, you are a psychopath.
And the thing is, Chico, you and me have both been in that situation. Mine's a little different than yours, but still very similar. You obviously have been on Jeopardy. You've been on Let's Ask America. I was on the Hardball Hot Seat. Oh, by the way, future installment, we're going to talk about my entire, I don't want to call it ordeal, my experience, because it's not because it's a bad show or anything. It's a very interesting story. But again, that's a future episode. We've both been there, and I know when I was there, I hadn't had sleep in probably 2 or 3 days. I was visibly tired. I was very twitchy. Even the first question that was asked of me, I wanted to say answer A, which I knew was the right answer, but out of my mouth came a totally different answer. And that was just because of nerves, and also probably because I wasn't just like thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I just showed that clip to a couple of my students about a week and a half ago, and they commented, "Oh, Mr. Klaus, you're so stupid. You haven't gotten the first 3 questions right." And I said, sit back and calm down. And then I rattled off like 8 or 9 questions in a row right, and they're like, "Oh, how did you know that?" It's like, don't doubt the Klaus.
No.
Don't doubt Big Papa Klaus.
There's a reason I'm your teacher. Don't doubt me. So again, nerves gets the best of all of us. So it happens, and unfortunately, sometimes it happens at the worst possible time. But now the second one, this is Tom Poston's doing. This wasn't the contestant's fault. This wasn't anybody else's fault. This is all on Tom Poston. This happened in March 26th, 1982, on the final episode of Password Plus, the final alphabetics in the history of Password Plus.
Oh
boy!
And there's only $20,000 at stake, not $5,000, because they instituted an increasing jackpot until it's won at the time. So this is for $20,000, and here's what he does.
We're going to give you 10 passwords beginning with the letter K and going alphabetically to the letter T. And if you get all 10 in 60 seconds, you get an additional $20,000. And Mr. Poston is here to help you. Tom, let's look at that first word, which begins with K, and we'll get to the business at hand. There you have it. Think of your clues. Good luck to both of you. You have 60 seconds. Go.
Fly. String.
Kite.
L. Keep going. L.
Automobile.
Lincoln.
Chauffeur.
Limousine.
M.
Animal.
Mouse.
Suckling.
I can't think.
Not fish. Let's go on.
Disqualify. Continue.
Mammal.
Silk.
Nylon.
Right.
O.
Iron.
Ore.
P.
Trousers.
Pants.
Q.
Pen.
Quill.
R.
Twine.
Rope.
S.
Noodles.
Soup.
No. Italian.
Spaghetti.
T.
Animal.
Tiger.
Yes. You got most of it. You got most of it. Now, wait a minute. Believe me when I tell you it is a major victory. However, since there was a disqualification or two, one of them was for illegal gestures, and the other one for using, you had the string with a kite, and you went like this, which is an illegal gesture. But she got the answer, she got the response, and the other one, you said 2 words, not fish. That was a disqualification. So what it means is that instead of $20,000, you get, because of the disqualifications, $12,000 because of the 2 illegal clues. But that's pretty darn good. As a matter of fact, it gives you a grand total of $14,000 or $12,000 plus the 2. So congratulations to you. That was terrific, John. You got it.
I shouldn't have disqualified them.
It's better than just the 800 or so. We have a commercial. We'll be right back.
Oh my.
So for clarification, he got beeped on the first clue because of a gesture. He was actually like pretending he was holding a rope. and that's an illegal clue, and your jackpot went down by 20% because of that. And then on the third word, he used two words together, a phrase, not fish. Nope, can't do that. I mean, if you put a little pause in there, not fish, you can get away with that. But you can't be like, not fish. Nope. No, not a sufficient amount of time between words. So the $20,000 became, well, still a decent amount of money, $12,000, but there was $8,000 left on the table, and clearly it looked like the contestant was going to get all 10 words, even if he didn't do illegal stuff.
Let me check inflation calculator for a second. What $12,000 would be in 20. Today, $12,000 would be the equivalent of $32,172.31.
Not an insignificant amount of money at all.
Nope.
But we gotta say, one of my favorite part about this Final Alphabetics is when Tom gets beeped for the kite, he gives a little look to the side, like by the camera, like, whoa!
Yeah, I think he was trying to do like body language on Password Plus.
No, body language would come 2 years later on another network.
Yes, with Tom Kennedy, as a matter of fact. We should also note that the Alphabetics was at the start of the episode. That was the first thing in the episode, and we said it was the last Alphabetics. The entire rest of the show was one main game, because at the time, Password Plus wasn't $300. You had to go to $500, and they changed the structure of the payouts per puzzle. So they ended up playing like 5 or 6 puzzles, and then lo and behold, person wins $600, time's up, but we'll be nice and we'll give you another $5,000 for winning Alphabetics. But Greg, that's not the reason we're here. Really, the reason we're here is something you want to mention.
Yeah, here's the thing. We originally planned this episode when we started this podcast back in late September, early October. And Mike came up with the subject, Tom Poston word game, tomfoolery. But then, somewhere along the way, something came to our attention that we just had to change the title of this show and bump it up on the calendar. And that one incident occurred on December 23rd, 1983. And where else did it occur but the Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour? That's right, folks. We're going back to our subject from episode 1.
And we didn't know this at the time.
No.
Nope.
This didn't come up because we were like 2 weeks into the reruns on Buzzer.
Right. And yeah, this would come about 7 weeks later. As we said, it was the episode before Christmas, December 23rd of 1983. And we have a champion, Cindy Charbonneau, who on the previous episode, she did it. She won the $30,000.
And who did she win the $30,000 with, by the way?
Did she win it with Leonard Fry?
Yeah, you're damn right she did.
You're damn right she won with Leonard Fry.
So right now we're calling back to both episode 1 and episode 2 of this podcast.
And yes, we are actually. And yeah, so she won $30,000 with Leonard Fry. She was the second winner of $30,000 on Match Game Hollywood Squares, even though it was the third win, because like in week 3 or week 4, we had somebody win $30,000 on back-to-back episodes.
Yeah, the man with the magnificent beard.
A very magnificent beard. But now she's on her second day. She's got like $31,000, $32,000 in her pocket. And she goes to the super match.
Well, first off, in the audience match beforehand, she got screwed. In my opinion, she got screwed out of $1,000.
She got way screwed. Well,
I
would say yes, she got screwed, but they do want exact wording. And what the blank was blank lover. Blank lover.
A blank lover. Oh,
Yes,
wow.
and mind you,
I remember
yes, and
those.
mind you, the South Park episode Chicken Lover wouldn't be for another 15 years.
No,
Okay.
it wouldn't be for. Yeah, it wouldn't be. No, 14. No, you're right. 15 years.
Yep.
So Cindy at the super match. So for blank lover, the way that Cindy fills it in is she says hot lover. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Okay.
The $250 answer, the third most popular answer, is Latin lover.
I've been called one of those. Okay, that joke obviously fell flat. Next.
And a hush falls over the crowd. The $500 answer is lousy lover.
I've been called one of those too.
I was just going to say the same thing.
No.
And then, gosh, Greg, if you say you're this, I'm quitting. You guys can finish up the show. The $1,000 answer was red hot lover, not hot lover, red hot lover, and they buzzed her, which makes sense because they do say you need to be you have to have an exact match, at least at the super match, the head-to-head match part. But I know they gave some concessions to similar incidents on the 70s version. Plus, I'm sure we'll see some in the 83, 84 Match Game Hollywood Squares version as well. So they judged her as wrong. She's playing for a consolation $100, and she's going to multiply it by the 10, 20, or 30, depending on who she picks. She goes with Tom Poston, and the question is Johnny Blank. Johnny Blank.
Johnny Blank. This was
And
1983, right?
Yeah.
this is the end of 1983. And
There's only one obvious answer for this.
there's one obvious answer, but we'll let it play out. Here's the entire segment. It's about a good minute and a half, 2 minutes long. Enjoy.
Now we ask you to choose a star. Remember, there's a 10, 20, or 30 concealed number in front of everyone, and we'll multiply that $100 by whatever number is revealed now as you select a star.
Tom.
Tom Poston. Ready, set, go.
There you go.
10.
10,000.
All right, so that means you are playing for $1,000 here. $1,000 is okay. Listen, $1,000 added to the $31,000 would make it $32,000, wouldn't it?
Oh, that's good.
Good luck to you. Here it is. Johnny Blank. Johnny Blank. No help from the audience, please. Johnny Blank.
There's another one.
Wow.
No mumbling.
Mumble, mumble, mumble.
No mumbling.
Mumble, mumble.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
While Tom Poston goes into a deep coma.
Look at it.
Before Christmas, Tom, would be helpful.
What do I have to do?
Put it in the slot.
Look at this. Oh, I'm the one, you mean? Oh, I'm sorry.
You're the one.
Oh, Tom. I don't know how to play the game.
You're the one.
Holiday for Tom. Tom Poston takes a
I was
holiday.
out there speculating on various ones.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of things.
You know,
but
Tom, you have such a goofy look on your face. It looked as if you were thinking, and all of a sudden you're sitting there
I was trying to
doing
think
nothing. You're in a coma. All right. Now, you
This isn't even my idea. This comes from the whole everybody on the panel.
Right, it's a consensus. Okay, for $1,000, how do you match Tom in filling in that blank? Johnny?
Carson.
Okay. Tom, what do you say?
You idiots. That's the one.
They gave you the
It wasn't
wrong-
even my choice. I said.
Carson, all right, you got $1,000. Now,
What other kind of hot
32 for Cindy. Congratulations, Cindy. $32,800, and we'll be back after these messages.
What do I have to do?
So yeah, Tom Poston had a mini coma there. He didn't know he was playing, and what do you have to do, Tom? Write the answer down, Johnny Blank.
Here's what I don't understand. He pulls the tab. He has to have some idea he's playing, right?
He has some idea that he's playing.
He's been on the show for like the whole week. Like, doesn't he have an idea of what's going on? What's been on the whole show?
Well, also, Gene tells Tom, yeah, here you need to fill in this blank. So obviously he's got to hear that, and it looks like he's thinking for a while, writes down an answer, then is contemplating another answer possibly, but then he totally zones out.
And in the meantime, when you watch the whole segment, you can see John Bauman is looking at someone backstage. So he hands Jim J. Bullock a note, and Jim J. Bullock pulls up the note to Tom Poston, making him try to pay attention. And then Gene says, "Before Christmas," and then Tom's like, "Well, what do I have to do?"
Put the answer in the thing.
And then Tom's getting all apologetic. Meanwhile, Gene and the contestant are laughing it off, and Marty Cohen and Jim J. Bullock are strangling Tom. Mock strangling Tom, we should say. And lo and behold, what happens? She finally gives the answer, Johnny
Carson.
Fill in the blank, guys. Johnny Carson. And what does Tom put? Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson.
It was the longest $1,000 win in history.
Yes. This would never, I'll tell you this would never happen with Leonard Fry, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you know who had the 30 that day?
Leonard Fry.
Leonard Fry, exactly. She should have gone back to Leonard after getting the 30,000 from him. She would have gotten another 3,000.
Tell you what.
But also, thank heavens she didn't go back to Leonard Fry, because we got this.
Yeah. You dang right we should be.
And that by itself is worth the $2,000 she missed out on.
Yeah. Her missing out on $2,000 was worth it for our entertainment.
But hey, she probably enjoyed every cent of that.
Oh, plus also, just watching the end credits to this episode, Nidra Voles and John Bauman are dancing at the end.
Yeah, of course you'd want to mention that.
Well, of course, it's Nidra Voles. She's the best thing on this show.
No, Leonard Fry is the best thing on this show.
Allison Armgrim, line 1. Thank you.
Well, I gotta say, Allison Armgrim's outfits in this past week's episodes of Match Game Out Squares on Buzzer were just on fire, I gotta say. They
were lit, as the kids would say.
Twyla Littleton, I win.
Hashtag Twyla had 30. You know, one day we gotta do, as a submission, the episode of Matlock where Twyla Littleton is on.
Oh, gosh.
Who says we can't just do a show on Twyla Littleton?
Certainly Tom Poston had more sort of hiccups in an otherwise storied game show career, right?
Yeah, I mean, his career was excellent. Yeah, we all make little brain farts. And again, one of them totally was not his fault. And the other two ended up in victories, one significantly bigger than the other, so he didn't totally blow it.
That's true.
Right.
Well, you know, we all have our good days and bad days on game shows, and, you know, Tom Poston's human like the rest of us, but those things happen.
Poston, yeah, look, some things happen, and I'll tell you right now, time and tide and nerves and lights and stress, all undefeated. Throw Tom Poston in the mix and, well, what can I say? It was a thing on TV.
They were things on TV, absolutely. Well, as always, you can go to www.itwasathingontv.com, and we've got previous episodes there, and we've got our links to social media, and we've got our email address there. Please feel free to send us comments. Tell us what you like about the show, what you don't like. We have feelings, but we can handle it. We're tough guys, I think.
We're thick-skinned. We have thick skins and even thicker heads.
Yeah.
That's a good way of saying that.
Yeah, that is a good way of saying that.
So we're on Apple Podcasts / iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on the Podbean app. We're on Google Play. We're on Spotify. We're part of the Place to Be Nation Network. What aren't we on? I think we're everywhere. We're everywhere. We're everywhere.
We're not on Pandora yet.
Oh, crap. All right, I'm going to look into that right now.
Do you think that Planet Mars has a podcast app? We could be on that. We could be like the first ones on the app.
The first ones on. We could be the first humans ever on Mars.
Yeah, we could. We could take over the market all for ourselves.
I wonder if Martians have a Tom Poston of their own who can blow up the supermatch like that.
Oh boy.
Just an idea.
Yeah, just an idea.
Not a good idea, but just an idea.
Well, while you think of the good ideas, let's go ahead and close it out.
Yeah.
Again, thanks ever so much for listening. Without you, there would be no us. Again, we welcome your feedback at contact@itwasathingontv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram.
And don't forget to review us. Don't forget like and review on your favorite app.
Subscribe, and share. Sharing is caring.
And
give
also,
us 5 stars. Give us 5 stars, everybody.
Also, if you have a membership to Podbean, you can follow us there. I don't know what that gives you. I think it may just give you updates as to when new episodes are uploaded, but still, you can follow us there. We've got, I think we're about 14, 15 followers there. So we're slowly growing, and we thank you for helping contribute to that growth. Until next week.
Next week.
Next week.
We got a really good one next week. Let's just say
it's timely.
It's very timely.
And it's a Greg episode.
Yes.
Next week is a Greg episode.
No, I'm going to be taking so many notes for this episode. This could be, I'm not joking. This could literally be an hour and a half pod.
Awesome. And
you've been warned. You've been warned. Clean up your devices and charge your battery. It's going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
But that's just one episode. The other episode, we sort of did some shifting because this week we were supposed to do the Saturday Night Live 6th season episode, but because of Fred Silverman's passing, we actually bumped Tom Poston up to this week. He was supposed to be taken care of next week. And next week, we moved an episode, which I think we were going to do in July. We moved that up to next week. It's one where I have a little bit of a rant. Greg knows about it.
Yeah.
I got something I got to get off my chest because it's been bothering me for years.
Yeah, this next week, the first episode's definitely a Greg episode, and the second episode's definitely a Mike episode.
It's a Mike rants episode, so get ready for that.
But the second subject of episode 2 is going to be something that I think is a show that is very fondly remembered by a certain section of people.
Oh, yes. Maybe the
course.
First one, too, but we'll get into that next week. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. We will talk to you next week with 2 new episodes of It Was a Thing on TV. See you later.
Wow! Whoa, what happened?
Con, you missed the entire podcast.
Oh, I missed the entire podcast. Oh no!
I did not expect that. Oh my gosh!
Brilliant!
That was great. Oh my
Okay,
god!
ladies and gentlemen, Greg gets the game ball this week
Yes,
for giving his
God.
mom a pizza and for that last thing.